Imhotep. Let's begin this lecture here with a formula. The formula is language equals event divided by time. Language equals event divided by time. And that's what I'm explaining now. An event can be the birth of a child. So you have a baby, that's an event. So the language of the baby at the time of birth is to cry. The baby cries. So that's the language, the baby knows how to speak. But at this time also, the intelligence of the baby will be the intelligence of innocence and purity. The baby is innocent and the baby is pure. So that's how the intelligence is. So we're beginning to get some idea about this formula that I'm talking about now. Okay, here let's give you another example. Another event is the language of a drunkard. Yeah, guy comes home, is out there in his sitting room, and then he begins to drink his whiskey. Pretty soon, he's drunk. So, at the moment this person here, he or she is drunk, they get up and they want to move around the sitting room. You can see they are knocking chairs around, tables around. I mean, they are just incoherent. So the language that this person will be speaking also will be incoherent, just as that person was walking and knocking things over. Everything is incoherent, the language is incoherent. So how about the intelligence of this person, the intelligence of the drunkard? Well, at this time the intelligence is stupid. How can an incoherent person give you any worthy intelligence? Ask yourself. So that's a stupid intelligence. Now, here's another example. A more serious event is the language of I, Professor Momo, when I'm giving a lecture on time bubbles and the dark universe. Yes, when I'm giving a lecture on time bubbles and the dark universe, that language will be serious and very highly sophisticated. That language will be very serious and very highly sophisticated, and therefore the intelligence is also sophisticated intelligence. Now we have laid plain this formula. So the formula language equals event divided by time. That's what I'm indicating here. The event is the things that I describe here. The baby crying, the baby being born, an event. The drunkard, that's an event. And then the time that happens and the intelligence associated with it. And then I, Professor Momo, giving a lecture on time bubbles and the dark universe. That's an event. The lecture is an event, and then the time is happening. So when you divide these two together, you define a language. So the language that Professor Momo speaks is serious and full of intelligence. The language the drunkard speaks is incoherent and stupid. So we can see now the event and the time give you a language. Alright, that's pretty simple. I gave you those simple experiences to sort of break it down for you. So here we go now. Where is the origin of languages and intelligence? We want to know the origin of languages and intelligence, because when we know the origins of these very two powerful systems that are very much how we shape our lives, how we define our own functionalities anywhere and everywhere, we ought to know where did all of this come from. Here, the origin of language and intelligence must be traced to where nature has the greatest abundance of all her resources. Listen to that carefully. The origin of language and intelligence must be traced to where nature has the greatest abundance of all her natural resources, and that particular area is Equatorial Africa. Equatorial Africa is where you have the abundance of everything in nature. Of course, you have Southern America and so forth, but you remember now where South America was initially, over 600 million years ago. We had one planet, one continent. All these continents that you see floating all over the place were all connected to Africa. Africa is the mother continent. So Southern America was part of Equatorial Africa. So that's why it's so relevant that we go into history and the geometric situations that occur in history, so that we can make relevant facts, not theorize on nothing. So anyway, let's come back to the point. This particular area, Equatorial Africa, is where the first mother appeared about 1 million years ago. The first mother of all humanity, of Africans, of Caucasians, of Asians, of Indians, of everyone. The first mother appeared in Africa. Her name is Mother Tang, T-A-N-G, Mother Tang. She was the first mother that appeared on the planet. She appeared on the eastern side of Mount Kilimanjaro, and about 9 cosmogonic counts later, Father Tang appeared on the western side. You see, so everything is based on time. With time, events occur. So with time, about 1 million years ago, Mother Tang appeared, and then 9 cosmogonic counts later, Father Tang appeared. Now, what's 9 cosmogonic counts? Well, just think about the 9 months of pregnancy that a woman has. Everything that makes something happen in terms of existence is based on 9, the number 9. A woman goes through pregnancy. As far as humanity is concerned, a woman goes through pregnancy for 9 months. Now, the different creatures have their own cosmogonic counts, and we're not talking about creatures, we are talking about humanity. And so 9 cosmogonic. Now, so what is 9 cosmogonic counts? Well, 9 cosmogonic counts can be 9 minutes, 9 seconds, 9 milliseconds, 9 months, 9 years, 900 years, 9,000 years. So that's what cosmogony is. But I mean, it's a very complex subject that deals with the dark universe, which I'm not talking about right now, but I just give you an idea about what the cosmogony of existence is all about. Okay, so now we go. Why do you think the Africans called that region where Mother and Father Tang appeared? It was called Tanganyika. So why do you think Africans call this area Tanganyika? The name Tanganyika means the home of the first parents of humanity. That's what Tanganyika means. Tanganyika, the home of the first parents of humanity. That's why we call that particular region around Mount Kilimanjaro Tanganyika. Tanganyika, Tanganyika. Now, if you look for that name, you're going to find a different name. Why? You see, today you wouldn't know whether that country Tanganyika ever existed. You wouldn't know. Why? Because the British people who colonized that part of Africa changed the name. See, the Africans gave that name based on facts. Tanganyika was a name that was based on facts. The facts were, this is the area where our first father and mother appeared. Then the British come into the show, and then they change the facts, just like Einstein did. He says, if the facts don't match the theory, you change the facts. So the British had a theory, and that theory was based on their King James's Bible lie. The lie of the Bible was their theory, that in fact the theory was that no, the first human was Adam, a man from whose ribs, this Bible now tells you that, whose rib was broken by their God to create Eve. So you see the theory? And today people are running around believing that lie. People are running around. How can a man give birth to a woman? People are running around going to church every Sunday to worship that lie. Alright. So the facts are that then the British changed that name to some other silly name. I'm not even going to mention that name. So Equatorial Africa region, where mother and father tongue originated, is also where language, spoken language, began. And in fact, all of that area is where the Bantu language is spoken. The Bantu language has many dialects. The people in Zimbabwe have a form of the Bantu language. They have different names for their languages. The Congo has different Lingala and all of that. They are all part of the Bantu language. South Africa, Malawi, even coming up to Cameroon and all those places, they all have parts of the Bantu language. The thing about the Bantu language and even most other languages in Africa is that they have the highest count of phonemes. Phonemes. A phoneme is the smallest phonetic unit. For instance, if you take two words like dine, D-I-N-E, and dime, D-I-M-E, you can see the two words begin with D, D-D, and then you have N in dine and then M in dime. So the N and then the M are the phonemes in this phonetic definition here. So that's what we have to come back to. Africa is the origin of languages, and so if Africa has the most complex of all languages, the highest number of phonemes, so why do you think that Africans cannot have the highest level of intelligence? I want someone to tell me that Africans don't have the highest level of intelligence. I want someone to give me some theory that will prove to me that Africans don't have the highest level of intelligence, and then we take it from there. I'm Professor Momo. I look forward to your responses. Nama.